Good morning, this is Deer Creek in the Mazatzal Mountains. I picked this hike out of one of those guidebooks. You know, 437 hikes in the Arizona Plateau country. Might have looked good on paper, but in practice it seems to have been pretty boring. And so I'm going to sit here and talk about an anime that worked out about the same way.
Concrete.
Concrete is a full-length theatrical animated movie with an unusual visual style and theme for an anime. The urban district of Treasure Town is a maze of twisted streets and garish shops, aging high-rises with bizarre shapes, tangles of power lines, and brightly colored clutter. It holds residents and visitors, the poor and the homeless, the young and the old, the honest and the criminal. Concrete is a story about changes coming to this isolated neighborhood and its unhappy denizens. Two diminutive tween-age street punk orphans, called the Cats, scratch out a living and fight off rival street gangs here. Their names are Black and White, or Kuro and Shiro if you prefer. They live in the shell of an abandoned car under an overpass. Black is the smart, strong head of their operation, a violent kid who likes the taste of blood. White, in contrast, seems rather spaced out and possesses a Teflon innocence such that their violent life of petty crime doesn't actually tarnish his spirit. His mantra is, be happy, and he stashes the money they steal in a piggy bank, saving for a ride in an airplane. Not that this pair don't already seem to fly as they leap over rooftops and perch on lamp poles. The whole movie is presented in extreme and often jarring camera angles. The computer-assisted animation allows rapid camera motion through the virtual three-dimensional city where the vertical landscape is just as important as the horizontal. The camera often looks up at the kids from the street or down at them from up above. This particular shot has an interesting angle that's not just down, but twisted, as if the viewer isn't looking directly at the subjects. Early in the movie, two rival street punks announce plans to move into the Cats' territory. Black and White take them on in a running chase through Treasure Town that's a visual treat. Note the vertical, pedestal movements of the camera are supplemented by virtual, shaky movements, as if the whole thing was shot with a handheld camera instead of drawn.
Treasure Town.
They can fly.
They live by the law of the jungle. This city is their playground.
I hate this town, you know.
Come back here! What the?
The Cats aren't the only gang in Treasure Town. The Apaches, a slightly older street gang, stick mostly to their own age group. And some Yakuza street enforcers are led by a guy commonly known as Rat and his apprentice lieutenant, the younger Kimura. A Yakuza boss has been convinced that the key to making money in Treasure Town is to take over its cheap land, tear it all down, and build an amusement park. That's more lucrative, apparently, than shaking down the quaint old shopkeepers. Snake is going to be the Yakuza's agent for this change. He somehow controls three super beings who speak an unknown language. These weird aliens give a physical form to the outside agents changing the neighborhood. Surprisingly, the Yakuza street boss, Rat, isn't keen on his boss's idea to trash the neighborhood. I guess he's an old-fashioned Yakuza who feels an obligation to the people he's been extorting from all these years, especially the local strip joint. But mostly it's Black who isn't going to let Snake take over his town without a fight, however futile. Neither Black nor White nor any of the other characters have any background in this movie. We have to take them as is, which is strange for a movie that mourns the loss to the present and thus the past. Black seems to see himself as White's protector, but White is also protecting Black, acting as a shield against the cold indifference of the city and the violence of their lives. When the police finally separate White from Black for White's own safety, there's nothing left to restrain Black's ultra-violence. Police Detective Fujimura, the veteran cop on the beat, and his new partner are pretty much reduced to watching violent events unfold in Treasure Town. But ultimately, it seems everyone has already lost their struggle against change here. The neighborhood has already become cold and indifferent to its residents. The movie begins with White reciting the seasons. As the movie marks the passage of each season, it tells us that there are changes that are inevitable, and they will sweep everyone away before it.
Do you believe in astrology, Kimura?
Believe? I don't believe in anything.
I thought I smelled something sour in town.
Well, well, if it isn't my old friend Fujimura. You're gonna regret being a cop now that I'm back, Fujimura.
Although Tekon Concrete is based on a manga by a Japanese author, the screenplay is from an American, and it's directed by an American expatriate, Michael Arias, at Japan's Studio 4C, with a British band providing the music. No doubt this multinational staff is responsible for the non-traditional look. The animation is breathtaking throughout, with brilliant colors, extreme camera angles, and fast fluid camera motion in all 3 dimensions. The character designs eschew the usual big-eyed anime faces for intentionally uglier, scarred appearance. The urban landscape seems to ignore both American and Japanese art style and consciously embraces the European comic books. It's not realism, but rather incredibly detailed drawings of crisp lines and bright pastel colors. Some of the storytelling, especially in the latter parts, becomes abstract and allegorical. Dreams and characters' alter egos pop in and out of the movie, illustrated in a different art style by fluid pencil and watercolor artwork. Snakes flying alien assassins are one such unexplained allegorical mystery here. Another is the legendary Minotaur, the only creature in Treasure Town considered more badass than black, unless of course it really is black. Tekon Concrete is a full-length feature film, just under 2 hours in length. The musical score provides a mostly fast-paced, driving beat that propels the action. The English dub isn't bad. Both languages capture the cynicism of the Yakuza, and the outrage of the Apaches, and the negativity of the cops. I thought White sounded more properly confused on the Japanese soundtrack, but either soundtrack is fine by me. For some reason, Sony didn't include the English cast credits on the DVD. It's clear from the commentary that director Michael Arias felt a personal, emotional connection to the story. Unfortunately, that didn't seem to come through in the anime. It's absolutely gorgeous, but dry and uninvolving. Arias stuffs his story with lots of symbols, like black crows and white doves, the Minotaur, aliens, flowers, the ocean. The emotional connections get lost in an intellectual exercise from film school. I give Tekon Concrete 3.5 stars. The animation is simply awesome and well worth watching just to appreciate the technical mastery it reflects. The story is modestly interesting and attempts something greater than it's capable of achieving. It's cold as the Warrens and the urban environment it deals with. It's trying to tease something out of the story without making me care about the characters. Maybe it's my fault for just not getting it. Or maybe it's the storyteller's fault for concentrating exclusively on the city's violent criminals and treating the honest, hard-working residents as mere befuddled scenery. It's West Side's story without Tony and Maria. Sony's US DVD release has both a making-of video and a director commentary track, and since the director is American, the commentary is actually in English for a change. The making-of video, which is in Japanese, is refreshingly candid in places, such as after the first full rush of the movie is shown to the staff, they're appalled at how badly the pieces have come together.
Thanks for watching.